Imagine picking up a complex rulebook. You read the introduction to understand the framework, but then a referee tells you that the introduction actually isn't part of the rules you're required to follow. This is the legal reality of the preamble to the Indian Constitution. It is often called the nation's identity card. This single page defines the philosophy of the world's largest democracy. Yet, in the 1960 Berubari Union case, the Indian Supreme Court issued a surprising ruling. They declared the preamble was not, in a legal sense, an actual part of the Constitution. That decision stripped the preamble of substantive legal weight. It was viewed as a mere preface, completely unable to guide the government's legislative power or restrict its reach. This sudden dismissal directly contradicted the document's origins. In 1946, Jawaharlal Nehru drafted this text as the Objectives Resolution, the foundational promise used to build the Republic's entire framework. This ruling created a tension that would take over a decade to resolve. If the preamble was legally powerless, the specific commitments made to the citizens were in jeopardy. The preamble is built on a precise four-part formula. It establishes the state's foundation through four distinct ingredients. The first ingredient is the source of authority. It states that power is derived directly from we the people, rather than a monarch or a foreign power. The fourth ingredient pins the text to a specific timeline, the date of adoption, November 26, 1949. The second ingredient defines the nature of the state. This established India as sovereign, or fully independent, and a republic, meaning it would have no hereditary king. It also defined the state as democratic, where power is exercised through representatives elected by the people. This structure remained unchanged until 1976. During the 42nd Amendment, Prime Minister Indira Gandhi's government permanently altered the preamble's description of the state. The amendment inserted two specific terms: socialist, referencing a mixed economy, and secular, meaning the state would provide equal support to all religions. These adjectives function as strict legal boundaries. They define the exact character the Indian state is permitted to take. That brings us to the third ingredient, the state's objectives. These are the promises the state makes to its citizens: justice across social, economic, and political life, and liberty of thought, expression, and belief. It guarantees equality of status and opportunity, and fraternity to ensure the dignity of the individual. In 1976, the word integrity was also added here to define the unity of the nation. Under the 1960 ruling, these broad human rights guarantees had no legal anchor. Because the preamble was technically outside the Constitution, the government wasn't legally bound to follow its spirit. This vulnerability was resolved in 1973 during the Kesavananda Bharati case. The Supreme Court reversed its prior stance. After reviewing the framers' original intent, the judges officially held that the preamble is a part of the Constitution. This ruling reclassified the preamble as the legally recognized core of the document, ending its status as a mere disposable introduction. While the preamble is now an official part of the Constitution, it is non-justiciable. This means a citizen cannot sue someone solely for a preamble violation. It is not a direct source of legislative power, nor can it be used to strike down laws on its own. Its power is interpretive. When the text of a law is ambiguous, judges use the preamble as a lens to determine what the Constitution's authors intended. However, since Parliament has the power to amend the Constitution, and already did so in 1976, the question remained, could a future government simply delete these core promises? To prevent this, the court established a final safeguard. They ruled that while Parliament can amend the Constitution, they are forbidden from destroying its basic features, the specific elements outlined in the preamble. Constitutional expert K.M. Munshi called the preamble the horoscope of the Republic. By elevating it to a basic feature, the court ensured that even as governments change, the foundational identity of the state has permanent protection.